Her speech. I am the greatest warrior, monster, and now the mother of the world. Welcome back to part 4 of
AI Tale.
As always, if you missed any episodes, the link to the playlist is in the description. Last time we entered Waterfall and met Undyne, who has experienced some really horrible things in her life. She saw the tragic fate of Frisk's human mother. If you wanna see the details of that, watch part 3. We also learned about Undyne's and Alphys' relationship, which was just as disheartening. Apparently, Alphys had built a son for Undyne, Frankenstein style. And guess who we will meet today? Let's begin. Sorry to bother you with my sad story, Undyne said. I felt like I needed someone to talk to get it out of my head. So, thanks for listening, I guess. I misjudged you. She used her spear to point it to the distance. Come over to my house for a drink. Despite Frisk's refusal, Undyne dragged them to her house, where Undyne's son was already waiting. His shape vaguely resembled a fish. Many stitches were holding the pieces together. Nice to meet you. My name is Rhesus. I'm your friend, okay? The salmon Frisk encountered had already disappeared and was replaced with a small purple version of his human form. Oh, so he has multiple forms and can turn into a human form. That's interesting. And I really like his name. Rhesus is a type of macaque. It's like a hint for his human form. There's also a Rhesus factor, which has something to do with blood types, I think. Also a hint for his weird biology. I actually couldn't have come up with a better name. Good job, AI. So you're... Rhesus started to ask. Frisk, are you hungry? So, is this your official welcome party? Good job, you finally made friends. I guess it's kinda hard to make friends when you're a Frankenstein monster. So, tell me, you said you are starving. What would you like? Frisk looked at him in confusion. Is it actually hunger that you're thinking about? Oh well, we can't have you starving and dying to become a skeleton, can we? Rhesus laughed at the thought. That's a sad story. I, on the other hand, am quite healthy. So what kind of juice would you like? I don't know. Oh, come on. You should be the one to pick something. You know what's healthy and what isn't, right? He seems to be a really kind person. I like him already. Undyne couldn't help but smile. Her son was filled with joy and brought his new friend some juice. He had never been so happy in his life. For the first time in a long time, he didn't feel like he needed to fight to be happy. He sat back, silently playing with the 2 straws he had been given. After a few minutes of sitting there, he started to feel uncomfortable. He looked at the floor and noticed the floor was crawling with bugs. He covered his face with his head, trying to ignore the insects. Undyne was starting to get scared. Their house is infested with insects. Man, give Undyne a break. But it's kind of funny that she's afraid of bugs. Rhesus was starting to get a bit more ticked off. He was getting a little irritated with the insects and wanted to go out and hit them with a baseball bat. He got up and stomped out of the front door of the house. As he got on the front door, he noticed a car drive up to the house. He took a deep breath and noticed that it was Undyne. He immediately began screaming for her. Aninia! That's an interesting nickname. And how can she just appear in the car outside? Now I imagine her being in terror after seeing the bugs and saying, I'm getting the car, we are leaving ASAP. Undyne stood there frozen in place. She wanted to run to Rhesus, but she was too afraid. I guess this means running from the car to Rhesus? Why can't she just drive to him? These bugs must be so terrifying for her. She could hear the bug's movement and knew it was headed for Rhesus. She raised her fist to fight. Yes, mobilize your motherly courage! Even though Undyne was scared of the bugs, she had to save her son Rhesus, as well as Frisk, even if she had to do it with her bare hands. She was able to save Rhesus by his weapon, the Wonder Gun. I wouldn't call that bare-handed. Is that the gun she used to shoot Alphys? In spite of that, she didn't hesitate to use it against the buggy bug and appeared to care about that. In regards to Frisk, she said, "Help me, I can carry both of you," implying that she really wanted Frisk to save her. Why is she such a wimp all of a sudden? Her weapon is a sword with magical runes engraved upon it, and she can use some mind control magic to make a nearby foe do her bidding. The gun is also a sword. She took out a sword when she pinned Frisk to the ground in the last episode. I guess it's all the same weapon, and it sounds really powerful. However, she does not have the strength to fight a way out if she's being attacked herself. Okay, never mind, she's too wimpy to use it. Her speech. I am the greatest warrior, monster, and now the mother of the world. Sure, Undyne, that doesn't just completely contradict what just happened. You have such a big mouth, but can't handle a few bugs? Frisk complained. Undyne responded. Have you not seen their size? Save me and Rhesus, damn it. Alright, let me handle this, Frisk said. By the way, you smell bad. Out of nowhere. Good one. Well, Undyne could develop a fish odor. Frisk may have a point. Undyne's nose twitched. What did you expect? You smell like dirt. Undyne patted down on her face, her arms or chest everywhere. Frisk pulled her back. And you think I smell worse? Frisk said, ignoring the slap on the cheek. Undyne muttered. I know. So Undyne slapped Frisk on the cheek and they just didn't react to it at all. And Frisk's power level just exploded for some reason. Like, I'd say you smell great. But I do. Undyne patted down on her pants again. Well, I guess I'll just have to deal with you. As long as you don't stink, it's all good, Frisk said. Undyne started to laugh. Laugh away. The monsters do the same thing. Hey, the monsters that smell but have no right to complain, Frisk said, standing up. This is my home. What is this? Smell discrimination? Let's get back on track. Rhesus intervened. You both smell perfect. Please don't argue, we are friends after all. I don't mind those bugs anymore. Frisk and Anna looked at each other, and then an awkward smile appeared on their faces. I think they might be interested in you. Really? Yes. I saw them looking at you. Oh man, I hope they want to be my friend. What? Why? I want someone with me all the time. Who would be the perfect roommate for a loner like me? The others looked at one another with puzzled expressions, and then Frisk spoke up, trying to be helpful. Undyne, there's probably one of the cave monsters in the dungeon. Let me talk to them. I bet they'll let me stay in the dungeon as long as you're around. That sounds perfect. Undyne rolled her eyes. Rightfully so. How is that supposed to be helpful, Frisk? Why should we live in a cave, Frisk? My house is right here, Undyne said in a mocking way. Rhesus looked at the bugs crawling around. Well, there wouldn't be much of a difference. Frisk, wondering what kind of bird it was that was talking. Oh shit, it's like they were completely ignoring what Rhesus said. Was somebody talking? Must have been a bird. We have to be thankful for what we have. I'm thankful for having a family that cares, Frisk said. I can also be thankful that Asriel made me human. It was a hard job. I would be very grateful for that. I thought you were made into a monster. I'm confused. You should have been thankful for me, Asriel said. The only reason why I did this was to make you a real monster. Holy crap, Asriel just appeared out of nowhere. Now this is exciting. And since he must be a teenager by now, I'm not giving him a high-pitched voice. But why was it necessary to make Frisk a human again in order to make him a real monster? That sounds very strange. But I don't care right now. Asriel joined the story. Undyne and Rhesus observed silently as Frisk approached Asriel. Asriel! Frisk shouted. Where have you been all this time? Mom and I missed you so much. Asriel replied. I know, but there was something I needed to do. Just know that I love you so much. Does he mean love among the family, or is the AI trying to ship them? Asriel clenched his hand as he spoke. Frisk saw his hand trembling slightly, but he continued. Now that you're safe, I'm going to find Toriel, and I'm going to make this right. Frisk nodded, and Asriel continued. See you in a few days. What? No! You can't just appear after what might have been years and then just leave after a minute. Frisk looked at him one last time and ran off to the docks to meet up with an angry mom.
Asriel, I am your mother!
Toriel said as she came up to Asriel. He shrank down in terror. I'm taking you back to New Home, and there's nothing you can do to change it. Oh, she's gonna wipe the floor with him. She's pissed as heck. I wonder, did the river person bring her here? Asriel was shaking. Never before has he seen his mother Toriel so angry before. You have a lot of explaining ahead of you, son, she complained. Mom, do I really need to go to Dad now? Asriel lamented. Immediately. Frisk felt left out. What had his beloved brother done that infuriated their mother so much? Toriel closed her eyes and gently blew out a flame in front of them. It was thin and faint, so no damage was done. Go away, she said, as it fluttered out of existence. Please, go. There's so much symbolism here, I love it. I'll talk about that in theory time. Asriel and Frisk felt their faces go red. Okay, Asriel said. It looks like we get to go. Let's go, Frisk said, grabbing his arm. What? Yeah, don't let him leave on his own, Frisk. Toriel looked over her shoulder at them. I thought you were coming back. No, but that's not the point, Asriel said. Frisk turned him around. We could have died back there, Frisk pointed out. I don't want to make any further attempts to bring you back, Toriel replied. Oh, I feel so bad for her. She must have hoped to reunite with her son and sort out what has happened in the past, I guess. But Asriel refused. And both Asriel and Frisk seemed to fear her anger. Toriel was deeply hurt from Asriel's reluctancy to meet Asgore, from his refusal to reunite with his family. Her hopes to fix what was broken were shattered as well. She slowly walked into the darkness, suppressing her tears. Long time no see, Azzy. But, I don't want to interfere with your family stuff, Undyne mumbled. We should leave them alone, Rhesus. They need their time. Oh, really? Bummer. But I'm sure we'll meet again soon, Frisk. We are friends now, don't forget. Frisk waved goodbye with a smile. This didn't work out as intended, Asriel sighed. Was Mom following you? And that's this part of the story. I really liked this part. It had some silly light-hearted moments, but also ended with a twist that is relevant to the story. I'm glad that Asriel is joining Frisk on his journey. I don't know for how long, but we'll find out in the next episodes. But before we end the video, it's
theory time.
There was one thing that really confused me. Asriel helped make Frisk become a human, and for some reason that was necessary to turn him into a quote-unquote real monster. I have some vague ideas, but your guess is as good as mine. So when Frisk was adopted, they were accepted as a monster, at least on paper. And in the last part there was a hint that Frisk may not have wanted to stay in the underground forever. Maybe they wanted to become a human again, and Asriel took the opportunity to help out. Potentially to show Frisk that the life as a monster is actually better and to lead them to become a monster 100%. I don't know what this whole process is supposed to look like though. Maybe a future part will give us more clarity. I wonder whether being a real monster also means that you have actual monster body parts. That would be interesting. And lastly, I want to talk about what could be my favorite part of the story so far. Toriel's flame. After Asriel seemed unwilling to go with Toriel, we had these two sentences. Toriel closed her eyes and gently blew out a flame in front of them. It was thin and faint, so no damage was done. I think Toriel made that flame with the magic, and it symbolizes the relationship between her and Asriel. It had already been thin and faint, that is, their family bond had already been very weak. And then she gently blew it out to tell him that this is the end, their connection is lost. It doesn't happen violently, she doesn't cut the ties with force, It's more like letting go of a hand, silently with grief. And I think that makes it even sadder. It feels like nobody can be happy in this story, but maybe it'll prove me wrong in the coming episodes. Stay tuned. Undyne couldn't help but smile. Her son Rhesus was filled with joy and brought his new friend Frisk some juice. He had never been so happy in his life. For the first time in a long time, he didn't feel like he needed to fight to be happy. They watched Frisk play and laughed, while their newborn died of heart disease. And watching the life drain out of the child made them both wonder if this was how it was supposed to end. Did the AI seriously just make up a baby and kill it in the same sentence? This definitely won't be how it's supposed to end. Jesus, the AI knows no mercy. Poor Undyne. And that's it for the episode. If you have your own thoughts and theories, leave them down in the comments. And if episode 5 is already out, a link should be on screen right now.